These are the 3 must-use attack strategies at Town Hall 12 for 3 stars in Clash of Clans. So let's start with a very easy attack, the Zap Witches. You are just looking for the Inferno Towers. You're going to zap out 2 Inferno Towers with the use of 4 lightning and 1 earthquake on each of these. This is going to not only establish where you are going to be sending your attack in, but also kind of creating a funnel on the interior part of the base. So when you're going to send in your golems and your witches and your log launcher and your heroes, look for the Town Hall, Eagle Artillery, and multi-target Inferno. These are 3 buildings that you will need to remove. So try to look for them within a line or at least in a certain area. This will help you as your witches are going to continuously spawn skeletons. If you need to bring in super wall breakers, I'd heavily recommend it, but you should also use the Grand Warden ability to protect the log launcher because that log launcher has decreasing HP, so make sure you're able to take care of it. Outside of that, you should be able to deal with the enemy clan castle with a poison, and you should also have access to a rage spell. This should allow you to also provide support with the witches, the skeletons, and even your 2 yetis in the base to clear the town hall. This is really strong and it will allow you to more comfortably get a 3-star. Otherwise, once the town hall is down, and at least most of the splash buildings, and this includes the expos as well because they hit relatively quickly despite being point defenses, the witches should be able to get through a large chunk of it. But from there, you should easily be able to clear through the rest because you should still have witches, skeletons, you might have some of your heroes up like the Barbarian King, and that will allow you to have a very comfortable time moving through the base and getting a 3-star. Next up for our second army is Super Witch Smash. This works incredibly well on a variety of different bases, and it's probably on par with just being just as strong, if not stronger, than Zap Witches. Keep in mind that this is not a spam strategy. There is a lot of planning you have to do. You want to look for bases that are mostly narrow, which will give you a chance to use the lightning spells with. This is a really good way to remove an Inferno Tower from a given compartment, which not only speeds up your Warden Walk, but also helps create a funnel. If you want to use the Flame Flinger here, you can also do that too. It's very similar to how you would use this at Town Hall 13. In general, all you want to really do is if you're going to bring lightning, you're going to be using a different siege. You're not using the Flame Flinger. Instead, you're going to use the Siege Barrack with the Barbarian King on the other side. So you do not need witches in order to help funnel with your king. All you want to do though is create enough of a funnel from the lightning and the Warden Walk to where you can then send in your super witches, and that way you've got enough support to move them in. Using the Barbarian King and the Siege Barrack on the left of the base, in this case, in order to help clear a funnel set for the witches. You also want to make sure that you are going into the Town Hall, because that is a pretty hefty defense, and since there's no poison or slow, you really don't need to worry about any of that. And the super witches can easily move through like it's nothing, and the healers stay alive, and that's really nice. As you're sending everything in though, if you want to get your king and your siege barrack a little bit deeper in, you might want to use a super wall breaker to open that up, but you're using a double jump in order to move them through. You should use a rage spell early on to help them get through the town hall, jump into another area of the base, typically around near the core, and then you'll want to make sure that you're raging them up as they move into that core, taking down any necessary defenses, and then of course, jumping out of that area. From there though, you should still have cleanup. Stuff such as wizards are really nice, but also any other smaller units like minions and barbarians, archers, goblins, those are all really good in order to help clean up the base. You want to make sure that you're doing this because super witches are really slow, but this can still get you a 3-star more often than not. Now, last but not least, we have the Skelly Donut Lalo, and pretty much if you master Lavaloon here, this is an incredibly important town hall to learn it, especially since you have to deal with the Giga Town Halls from here on out. You're going to be looking for bases that have the Clan Castle and Inferno close together. So when you are deploying this, you're going to use one skeleton spell on the Clan Castle, the bat on the Inferno, then you're going to use the Rage and Invisibility and time that every 4 seconds. This should allow you to get a lot of value, and you shouldn't have to use any more than 3. This gives you access to either bringing another haste, freeze, or using that invisibility for later on in the attack. What you'll then do is send in your Barbarian King and Archer Queen. I recommend using an Ice Golem here. It's fantastic at making sure that your heroes are being tanked for. Their main goal is to remove the Town Hall, maybe remove the enemy Queen if possible. Since you don't have to deal with a Royal Champion here, as long as you can deal with the Queen with the Sui, then you are A-okay. But if not, you've got Headhunters. Their main goal is just to remove the Town Hall and get a little bit more value from there and dip. You've got Headhunters where you would use a Grand Warn ability. When you use a Lalo, try to send in 2 to 3 groups of balloons. Usually you might want to start with the Stone Slammer, but it's up to you. You can use it a little bit later and send that in with a separate group. I also want to just bring in 2 Lava Hounds that should give you enough tankage. You'll want to get to the Eagle Artillery as soon as possible. So you want to use those haste spells to get to things like the Eagle Artillery and remove that sooner rather than later. But of course, things such as air defenses, Tesla farms, wizard towers, the expos, and the air defenses as well. Those are all going to be important defenses to remove. And you just want to make sure that the defenses are having less time to hit your balloons, your Stone Slammer, and even your Warden, in order to make sure that you're able to get through the rest of the base. You might not have very many spells left over, but you should still easily be able to move through, making sure that you have cleanup thanks to the lava pups, the minions, and any other archers that you bring should help you get the 3-star more consistently with it. And that's why I personally believe that these 3 attacks are incredibly strong. And of course, I do want to bring you guys a mismatch video for Town Hall 12 and above dealing with Town Hall 15s and what the best army is for it. So let me know if you want to see that.